I don't normally do a video on video commentators, but I had to point out how Asmongold says what he says and why it's truly correct on how a patriot feels about their own country. If only everyone in America thought this way, we could actually make the right difference for America first.
The reason why I say I'm not sure that's going to work is it does judge the whole by the part, and that sort of isn't fair.
The entire idea of it not being fair is a total inversion of the moral responsibility that you have to protect your country. Your idea that it isn't fair, and so because you've come to the conclusion that it's not fair, the result of that is that women in your country get raped. How is that fair to them? Your responsibility as a person who's supposed to protect their country or do something to benefit other people is to act in a way that is in the best interest of other people that cannot act for themselves. And this is the big issue that happens, is that you're thinking about, like, from my perspective, you should not even be considering what's fair to Afghanistan migrants. They should be lucky they're here in the first place. They shouldn't even be here anyway. So what's fair to them, even if it is unfair to them, who cares? Who gives a fuck? Like, the focus should be on your own people. Like, you shouldn't even be thinking about them.
But at a bare minimum, the idea that you would have hundreds of people, and even in the cases where we sort of have a better idea about who they are because they've been through the criminal system, still don't know how old this bloke is, still don't really know how old he is. The idea that you would allow then hundreds and hundreds of people to be housed in areas and they're allowed to wander around and we have no idea who they are. No, cannot happen, cannot be allowed to happen anymore. If this case provokes one response, it has to be that...
But you're an immigrant too. The Indians probably thought so as well. Yeah, and it didn't work. And look how they're doing. They're in reservations now, and their entire civilization is destroyed. We took over the whole country. Indian Americans, Native Americans represent like less than like probably 5% of the population. Their culture is annihilated. Their way of life is relegated to reservations, and basically their entire existence is destroyed. So I think that you can look at Native Americans as a great example of what happens. Do you want to have that happen to you? I don't. So do you not think the new immigrants will do the same thing to you too? I think they will. That's the reason why I would try to prevent them from doing that. I'm confused by what your argument is. So what's your argument about this?
This is where it really gets good. When Asmond is on a roll, you cannot help but dig in because he is going to impress with the snappy answers of how he feels without remorse, because it is our country that matters, not some third world situation that has nothing to do with us.
Like, whenever my family was in the country for 500 years, I'm not an immigrant. Sorry. Let's break this down, okay? We're gonna break it down. America didn't use 500 years ago, you retard? I know. That's why my family fought in the Revolutionary War to make it exist. Yeah, that's correct. I'm glad that you recognize the math. That's accurate. You arrived from Europe, you stole the land from the natives? Exactly. We did. What makes the other immigrants worse than you? Nothing. Nothing makes them worse. I hold no moral superiority over them. I simply act in my own best interest and in the best interest of my country. I don't care about a moral argument. So might makes right? Yes, absolutely. That can be used against you too? Exactly. That's why I want to prevent him from coming here.
Take note here, as he is getting fired up and going to go full aggro on this type of twisted method that the left uses often. He picked the wrong commentator for today.
That's exactly right. I know it can be used against me. That's why I recognize the threat of it, and that's why I want to prevent it from happening. Does that make sense? At least this person's responding. Sure, you're morally superior. New immigrants don't build any civilization, only create another shithole. That's not my problem, even if they don't. You're making it possible by allowing it? Yeah, I know. That's why I think we should stop allowing it. I agree, and that's why we need to reverse it, because I recognize that threat, and I realize that it's real, and that's the reason why I would want to reverse it. That's my whole point. How many people live on a planet? Someone's going to go after you? Yeah, of course. That's why you have to have a gun, and you have to be able to protect yourself. Yeah, definitely. I mean, that's why you have to have, like, you have national security, you have countermeasures, you have the CIA, you have the FBI, you have police department, you have home security, you have guns, you have the Second Amendment. Yeah, obviously. We have all those things because of what you're saying. Yeah, I don't, like, I mean, maybe we're deprogramming, right? We got to deprogram people. So, why are we in a circle like a squirrel? Better to not hurt people to begin with? Who are we hurting? Like, I'm confused. Who am I hurting? Like, I'm just so confused by this. Like, I think you're making a moral argument. USA is stealing resources from our countries. They should protect them better. That oil was promised to us 3,000 years ago. I don't understand. Why do you think, here, let me ask you a question. Why do you think that those other countries don't come in to the United States and steal our resources?
Pause here to let you think for a moment. Why do you feel they don't steal our resources? Asmon hits it perfectly in this next segment.
Why do you think they don't do that? I think this is an interesting question. It's not a moral argument, it's a fact. Yeah, I know. Why did they not do that? You're promised one 3,000 years ago, are you Israel? Yes. So why do these countries not come to America and steal our resources? He's a goyim. There's a lot of goyim out there. I've honestly liked calling people goyim so much, I'm beginning to believe that I might be Jewish. As we came to America a couple of years ago, your parents? Okay, let me, we're gonna go back. The land had been stolen from natives, you can't deny it. I don't deny it, I embrace it, and I respect it. Yes, that's correct, we stole it. And we killed them all. That's right. Yep. Now what?
As I have always felt, if you just be honest with yourself about whatever term the left says about you, they run out of fuel really fast when you just nod your head and move on. They try to trigger you with names like xenophobia, fascist, racist, etc. It all comes down to one thing. It is about America first, and all your name-calling can slip on by. The main point is America first. No ands, ifs, or buts.
Okay, so I'm confused. What are we talking about? Like, yeah, obviously. Conquered, not stolen? What do you call it? So, this is right, morals deducted? I don't care what's right or not. It doesn't matter whether it's right or not. Like, what are you thinking about, like, what's right or what's not right? I don't give a fuck about that. There's a few reasons. What are the reasons? World wars? Yeah, exactly, because we killed them. What's the other reason? Petrodollar? Yeah, you know what the petrodollar is really backed up by? It's backed up by the US military. Every value of America is at some level backed up directly by the United States military. The reason why these countries don't come in and loot and plunder America isn't because they respect America, it's because we kill them. That's the real reason. If we couldn't do that, they would take it over instantly. They would immediately do that.
Asmon is 100% correct here. You can living the repercussions today in the sanctuary cities and their woke policies of defunding the police, light sentences, and criminals being let out. Same day, you are witnessing a psyop from the Democratic left, deep state, foreign powers, and the 1%, whether you believe it or not.
Started by Saudi oil and other oil smuggling countries with the U.S. steals? Of course. And it's in their best interest for us to do that because we help them and they make money off of us. That's right. We have a partnership with them. That's correct. And I think that they're getting their money's worth out of that partnership because we're cleaning the board out of one of their biggest competitors, which is Iran. Iran is a major destabilizer there, and we're blowing them the fuck up. It's because they're our boys. So we're helping them out. The only reasonable person in U.S. politics was Dwight Eisenhower warned the world about U.S. military complex?
Big time mistake. He brought up Eisenhower. Eisenhower happened to be a known subject for Asmon. I don't think he expected this from a commentator. Here we go.
You know what Dwight Eisenhower did before he did that? He won World War II. He beat the Nazis. That's the reason. Dwight Eisenhower said, like, you know what? You want to say I can't go to Area 51? All right, I'm going to show up tomorrow with the military, the whole army, and we're going to figure out what's in there. But you honestly think that Dwight Eisenhower would say that, like, really? I mean, let me ask you, do you think Dwight Eisenhower would agree that, like, we live on stolen land from, like, the natives or, like, something like that, and we need to give it back? Like, what are you trying to invoke him for? I mean, he doesn't agree with what you're saying. USSR beat the Nazis, mate? Well, we helped. France was not supposed to be in the UN table? Well, they are. France is an ally. France are our OG allies. What are you talking about? Yeah, we sure helped. That's why we had our tanks over there in Germany blowing them up, killing them. You're right, the USSR helped kill the Nazis. They did. So do we. That's right. Eisenhower was after World War II, bud. Hoover dropped the bomb. Well, of course he was after World War II. Because he was a general in World War II, and then he became the president after that. Like, that's the way it worked. How y'all know? Like, damn, bro. Like, really? So anyway, German generals saw their capitulation documents. They're very suppressed. They're very suppressed that the French were there. Well, look, we're getting off topic, right? Like, you're talking about World War II or something else. Well, my point is that Dwight D. Eisenhower would totally agree with what my perspective on this is. He totally would. And how do I know that? Because very clearly, he won World War II. Like, you have to be able to take drastic military action to solve this problem. It's not like he was letting in 1 million Somalians into America whenever he was president, right? My dad campaigned for Dwight Eisenhower at 5 years old. They had a like little thing. They said, "I like Ike." Okay, so like I know about this. I understand this probably better than you would imagine. So, but you're talking about this like as much as you want. But here's really what it comes down to, and I'm going to explain this really quickly. No, we should not be acting in the best interest of people that are not our citizens. Right? When I agree with your point, he's a true patriot of the United States. How many Somalians did Dwight Eisenhower let into the United States? How many? You realize Dwight D. Eisenhower was the president when we didn't have civil rights for black people, right? You understand that? Like, I'm sorry, he was the president during that time. And when he left being the president, they still didn't have civil rights. So this entire idea that like, oh, wow, this guy wouldn't agree with you. And I'm losing brain cells over this. This person's trying to misunderstand you on purpose. I know that. And they are. Made the interstates? Well, he made the interstates because he went over to Germany and he said how good they were doing it. They said, damn, they got this interstate thing going on. This is a good idea. We should do this over here. You're right. Dwight Eisenhower was the, he made interstates, 100%. And so anyway, there's some Somalian immigrant bullshit back in the day. Stop moving the goalposts. Exactly. And there wouldn't be now if we had somebody like Dwight D. Eisenhower as the president who would never let this shit happen. Never. So anyway, let me go back to my original point, okay? Because like we've been going on about this for a while. Here's what my original point is. We should only act in the best interest of our citizens. If something isn't in the best interest of our native citizens, then we should not do it. Period. Full stop. So why would we want to have migrants come into the country that rape kids? Why would we want to do that? Why would we want to let a single migrant into the country? Like, give me the reason for why to go from 0 to 1. Because she's hot? Okay, all right. Maybe like 2 or 3 then. Okay, well, besides that. It's all right. Arrogant, disingenuous chatter. That's okay. You would not want that to happen, but you're shifting the topic. What do you think? What do you think the topic is? You still talking to this guy? I know. But what do you think that? What is the topic to you? Eisenhower literally enacted one of the vastest deportation operations ever. You can't even name it because it's a slur. I forgot about this.
Some just don't realize that Asmon does have IQ points. When he gets on a roll, all woke seem to fall apart. Why? Well, it's because it's about America, and that is our first priority. Nothing else matters more.
Right? And so, like, that's what it is. That's what it says. I don't know what you want me to say. Millions of Mexicans had legally entered the country through joint immigration programs. Was primarily a response from pressure from a broad coalition to remove them. Gave rise to the arrests and deportations. Of course people can try and steal things from me. They do. Well, yeah, obviously. That's the reason why we have the government, is to prevent people. Like, do you think people don't steal things out of a Walmart because they like Walmart? It's because they don't want to get put in jail. That's the reason why. Like, I've already explained this to you. It's the threat of force.
And there you have it. An old saying I learned long ago. Never have a battle of the wits with an unarmed man. They won't understand the relation of the topic. Asmond was not reading a script in this video. However, his knowledge on the subject mixed with his experiences told from his father made the point. The point being America first. Special thanks to Asmongold TV for keeping up the fight daily to put America first.